So you're live.
Hey everybody, I'm testing out the sound. So can you hear me? If you can hear me, thumbs up or hearts. You know I love me some hearts. So let's see if you can, if anybody can hear me from there. Hold on, let's see.
Testing.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay, can you hear me? There we go. Okay, we'll be right back. Hello? Okay. Can you hear me?
It's still live.
Okay.
We're gonna keep it live.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I want to welcome everybody to another edition of Envision Me Talk Show. How many of us are sitting at the desk and you're like, wow, this is it. This is all I have. There is no more for me. Or better yet, you want more for yourself and you don't know where to start. See, that was me. I was sitting in a corporate desk and I literally had a breakdown. And can you imagine someone who think they got it but don't have it, and looking around, everyone is having a jolly old time, and I'm like, wow, I'm making somebody else's life rich and not making mine. Well, I had to come up with something. So my something was creating this amazing show where I bring on amazing guests as I have today, and you come in and you get empowered. And that's the piece that I was missing, is the empowerment of other women that are doing what they want to do, rocking it, making it look easy, which I know it isn't because I'm sitting on the other side now, but no, they're doing it with ease, and they're making an impact into the community. So that's what I've started doing. So I want you all to go grab your girlfriends, water. I drank mine on the way here, so you know, y'all, I gotta work on the snack thing, and get your snacks, your pen and paper, and you're gonna have another amazing guest to join me. So with that being said, as you guys are grabbing your pen and paper, I want you all to know that I have Miss Tia here, who is a CEO of this amazing studio. Which, first and foremost, thank you for having me here. This has been so much fun. I tell everybody. So everybody's like, "Well, I come into town, I'm going to go see the studio." I'm like, okay.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah. So first and foremost, tell everybody a little bit about you.
Yeah, so my name is Tia Ramey, and I am a communication strategist that specializes in digital strategy and public engagement. I own a multimedia incubator where I've been helping leaders get their voice out into the world for the last 10 years. Most of them are women, also people of color. It's been a legacy of mine, something that I love to do. I'm very passionate about the work that I do, just creating those custom content solutions and helping great people who seek to change the world to have a platform.
It was so cool. So I want to ask you some questions. First of all, how did you even get into being an entrepreneur? How did you even get into that?
Oh, it was such an accidental stumble. That was, I went to college for fashion design. That's actually my undergraduate degree.
Okay.
I went to CCAD. And at the time when I was graduating from college, there was a recession. So many people in the industry were being laid off, from the Limited Brands, Victoria's Secret. It was hard to find a job. And if anyone remembers that recession in 2008 to 11, like, you have people who are coming out of college competing with people who had been in the industry for so long.
Yes.
So I could not find a job in design. I was a new mommy. I had a little baby girl. I was a new wife, and it was just a tough time.
Yeah.
So I went back to college and decided if I can't go in on the design side of fashion, I go on the business side. So, and I thought I'd be a shopper. I thought that maybe I could go in and do merchandising for fashion instead of design. And so I went to school at the Franklin University for marketing communication to graduate school there. And I took this class called Marketing Technology, and I fell in love with it. So I wrote a paper about how social media would be the future of business and customer service and sales. Wrote some strategies into it. And one day, at the time, I was working in wireless sales at Verizon Wireless. It was the
Wow.
only job I could get for 5 years. So I learned a lot about sales through working in Verizon and
Yes.
performance-based pay. And that was like a hit for college students where you get
Yeah.
like a job making $9 an hour plus
Absolutely.
commission.
Absolutely.
But it was amazing for me to learn about performance-based pay. But at the time, I met this customer. He had stayed late at night, and I was trying to help him get his phone set up. And it looks like he had just recently acquired a new business. They were a manufacturer.
Uh-huh.
And I talked to him about the paper I wrote. We're the only 2 people in the store.
Uh-huh.
And he said, would you like to try and come and work for my company and try some of your social media
Yes.
strategies? And I said, sure, why not? Well, about a year later, we had a great working relationship. They asked me, I wanted to leave and go to a different agency and maybe learn some things about web design.
Yes.
Because no one could teach me anything. It
Right.
was so new. And they asked me if they could continue to hire me as a consultant. And I was like, sure. So I had a great new job. And I also had, a new client. And then I just continued after I left that agency. It probably lasted all of 45 days before I just pounded the pavement and started collecting more businesses to do social media for.
Wow, that is an amazing story.
Story.
Wow, that is amazing. Well, during your journey, what is one thing you've learned about this on the way?
About social media or entrepreneurship?
Entrepreneurship.
Oh man, I learned that it is such a faith walk. And I've learned that ups and downs are not like it doesn't slow you down. It actually gives you momentum.
Yes.
So I've really learned how to welcome the setbacks. It's a good opportunity, one, to take a break when you need one.
Absolutely.
So I've learned that because you don't exactly think, let me take a break.
Right.
So I've learned to let that be my divine intervention,
Nice.
and also to take the time to rest. That's the big lesson. To re-strategize, get some new ideas. And I also learned about entrepreneurship that it's not strategic in the way that it's like, when you leave your day job
Right.
for another job. Entrepreneurship is not like that.
No.
You kind of just got to go and build.
I
Roll your
agree.
wings on the way down.
I agree. You fumble and you learn as you fumble.
You feel forward.
You
That's-
do. You
You
do.
just can't be afraid to do that and reinvent yourself. So that's been the biggest lesson, that you just have to learn how to be whatever you have to be.
And I'm glad you're saying that, because so many people, how many people, like back in the day with Steve Harvey, no disrespect, but Steve Harvey used to talk about people jumping and just
Yes.
jump. And you would
Yes.
hear people jump, but not understanding when you jump, there's other things on the other side.
Yes.
And so I think that it's good for people to hear. If jumping is because truthfully, I had 3 clients. We all were good, and everybody's like, yeah, I got a plan, okay. And then 3 hours later, someone's like, all 3 of them called, and they're like, okay, I've handed in my notice, and we're jumping. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So and you're right though, but when we fall forward, and you have to learn from it, because everyone makes it looks like it's graceful, but there's a lot that you have to ask for grace as you're going down there.
Oh, it's so true. It's so true. I think the importance of surrounding yourself with good people in that process is so important. And the biggest lesson that I've had is that you have to always believe in positive outcomes.
Absolutely.
If you don't, then it really kills your creativity. There's really no room for pessimism.
I agree. But let's go back to picking up that right tribe, because
Yes.
I have to say for myself, I thought everybody will sit at the table and everybody will support me, and here I am in my stage of life. That's not true. That is really not true. So did you face something like that, and how did you overcome that?
Oh man, that is a really deep question for me. I'll tell you how I got into working with leaders. And in the way I grew up, I didn't grow up with necessarily a lot of support. I was an only child, so I was the first to do many things. The first girl in my family, in like 2 generations of men, the firstborn, the first grandchild on almost both sides of my family.
Yeah.
So I'm always the first and the crazy one, right? The first one to start a business, the first one to go to college. So they didn't always know how to help me with the things that I wanted to do. And so I grew up, because my siblings are so much younger than I am. I grew up pretty much an only child for the first half of my childhood. I didn't have to share anything until I got married, and that was a shock. But I grew up feeling that there was a deep loneliness. You know,
Yes.
you're an only child. You grew up in this world of all these adults and got no cousins really your age. There's a
Yes.
lot of loneliness, and you really want to make friends. And I noticed when it comes to you deal with leaders, they're very lonely people. They're very
True.
lonely people, and I just didn't want anyone to feel as alone as I have felt in my life. You know,
Gotcha.
everyone needs someone to hold their hands up,
Yes.
and I've really built my business on that. And what's funny is you get into this world of alphas, right?
Yes.
It's amazing when you surround yourself with people who are always jumping and
Yes.
always leaping, and it just becomes your environment after
Yes.
a while. You know,
True.
it's like things that seem impossible to the rest of the world. They're like, oh, we can do it. You know, it's like it's done over lunch.
Right.
You know, it's a
It's so true.
conversation. And feeding off
Keep
each
it
other's
going and keep
creative
it
energy.
going. So true.
You don't get to be buddies. You don't
Right.
get to hang out and call each other every day. But
Right.
when you need each other, you need that energy. You need to strategize. You need to brainstorm. You need someone to encourage you and remind you, you can do this. Come
Absolutely.
on, let's put pen to paper. Write it down. It's in your budget. It's on your calendar.
Right.
You know, that tribe is what helps you just really understand what's in you and what's possible.
I agree.
It really does.
I
So
agree.
I didn't, like I said, I didn't go thinking that everyone was just going to help me.
Yes.
But I did learn that what real help looks like.
Yes.
And it's
yes.
having people who can tell you that you can do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then also and you're right,
Yeah.
we have those people that are cheering you on, that are
Mhm.
rooting for you.
Yeah.
But then you also have those people that are sitting at the table wasting your space and your time. And we all face them. So how did you handle those people that are coming into your space that you notice and you don't give them a lot of time, but how did you overcome that?
Oh man, I'm still learning how to overcome that. You know, I think one of the big things that I've learned is one, like I said, if it's not in their calendar, if it's not in their budget, they're not serious.
Right.
And usually people who are like that, they don't hide very well because they start off being very critical. It's kind of what I noticed about people who are going to be like a asset to your time or liability. Those who are assets to your time, they're encouraging, they're strategists. But those who are liabilities, they're critical, they're pessimistic, you know, they're the ones who call themselves realists.
Right.
So
true.
That's usually how that looks. So when I hear that language, I'm like, we're not a good fit.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah. And that took me a minute to
Yeah.
really say, okay, it's okay, and I can move on
Yeah.
and everything like that. So that's really good. What prepared you for all of this, though?
Oh, so many things. You know, I think one, I would say that because I was a child in such a world of adults, mentors is just a part of my life. It's all that I know. My mother, she did a very good job teaching me how to learn how to be a person who could be mentored. And so whether it was, you know, the women in my church community and just finding those women in my life who were strong.
Yes.
And it's those are the ones who are the most misunderstood. The older I get, the more I appreciate their strength.
Yes.
Because it's hard. It's hard to be a woman who knows what you want. You're not rewarded for that.
True.
You know, in your social circles.
So
you know,
true.
so those women really have to be able to close the door, cry,
I
and
agree.
have someone that
Exactly.
can bear that journey with them. You
So
know,
true.
so misunderstood.
Yes.
But I've had so many of them in my life since I was a child,
Nice.
and they have prepared me.
That's nice. That is so nice to have women like that of power and of strength that can empower you on to your what's next.
Mhm.
So with that being said, as we talked about mentors, which I totally feel we need them. I try to have at least 5 in my life
Yes.
to balance me out. So I know I can hear the women that are sitting in the corporate world trying to say, well, I want to move forward. Where would you even suggest for them to start looking for a mentor?
You know what? I would suggest that one, I think that mentors usually come to you, but you don't like them when you see them. It's more so learning how to appreciate and recognize that characteristic.
Okay.
You know, some people would say, like, when they see mentors, they think that that's the person in their life that's too pushy.
Yes.
And that is the best possible
I
mentor
agree.
because they don't accept failure from you. They see what's there, they see what's in you, and they're there to sharpen you, and they're there to strengthen you. So if you learn how to appreciate that,
Yes.
then you got a mentor. So you probably have them and don't know
True.
who they are.
True.
And I say the same thing about friends. Like, your real friends, you probably didn't like them at first.
Right. You're right. You're right. So true.
You probably did. They're the people who are going to tell you, hey, you know what? You know, you probably shouldn't have did that. You know?
You're right. You're
They're
right.
the ones who are going to call you out. Those are your real friends. So I appreciated those people in my life. My mother, she taught me that, like, don't surround yourself with people who are just going to encourage you
Yes.
to do what you want to do.
Right.
It's those people who they probably are a little like, hey, you should try this,
Right.
do that,
Yeah.
get up. Why aren't you awake? My grandmothers and get up early.
Right. Exactly.
Those people, the pushy ones.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Well, I admire your mom. She is what I've known. I've met her. She's a woman of strength, and she's a woman that I so admire. As we start moving towards, as we're celebrating, I thought it was so perfect for this month of Women's History Month. I think it's so important that we celebrate women in history, especially us. We do so much and not being recognized for what we do.
Yes.
So, for that being said, who is one person you would like to recognize for the Women's History Month?
You know who I love, and I think about her strength all the time. I think about Harriet Tubman. She is one of my favorite leaders, and the reason why I have to say this is because she knew she was free before she was free.
Okay. Yes.
Like you have to know that you're free to walk off a plantation.
That's true.
You have to know that. You have to just say, no one. I'm not waiting for someone
Right.
to give me my freedom. I know that I'm a free individual,
Mhm.
and that helps me so much when sometimes I've been in politics a long time.
Yes.
So it can be discouraging when you're fighting against policies and things like that. But you have to know you're free.
Yes.
And I think about her struggle.
Yes.
And I think about where she started and how she paved such a powerful way. And it makes me own my own freedom. It even helps me with my entrepreneurship journey when I'm bogged down with a client.
Yes.
There's a project that I'm not, I'm like, well, what about the money? I'm like, no, you got to know you're free.
Yes.
You got to know you're free so you know when to walk.
I like that. I never thought of it like that. I like that perspective.
Yeah.
I have to say mine is Oprah Winfrey. And I love her, even though everybody knows T is now seeing that that's what I put on my college card. But
Yeah.
I like her because she faced all obstacles, and it also stemmed from her image, her body image, but yet she did not allow that obstacle to stop her.
Yeah.
And I always sit back and wondering, all those people that said no, all those people that had stopped her, I wonder what they're thinking now. I'm wondering, I wonder if they're coming back saying, okay, here I admit to my failure. I admit to what I've done to you. Can we do something? And if so, what does she say? I'm always curious on what she said, but I admire her. As I said, she did not allow those obstacles stop her, and things like that. I do remember the anchor that had fired her. He came back and asked her to come back. I do remember that. And she was like, no, I'm doing good on my own show. But I just want to know, how does everybody else feel? But that's the reason why I admire her, because she didn't let all these no's and all these people happling at her, because we face so much and so many no's that sometimes it makes that failure, so many failures, maybe I am doing the wrong thing. But she also shows she kept pursuing it, and she kept being persistent and never let it go. So that's the strength that I love about her. As we get ready to do a little bit, and again, we're working also talking to the women that are sitting in the corporate world at their desk, what would be one tip that they could use right now that they can implement into their day?
I would tell them if you can always be good to people. I think that is important. Especially when you're in the corporate world or even in this entrepreneurship world. People start, that's not where they finish.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if you can honor people from the ground up, I don't care if it's the janitor, I don't care if they're, picking up trash,
Yes.
honor everybody. And you never know where those relationships are going to take you. You never know who's going to remember you. So when you're ready to walk off the plantation, you're ready to be free, you're ready to own your freedom. You don't know who's going to look out for you. You don't know who's going to refer you, recommend you. And that's the thing about, being an entrepreneur, is that you don't know where your next check or your next sales lead is coming from. So you just got to be good to everybody.
Yeah, that is true.
Yes.
So now as we move forward, and we're going to get just a little personal with you now.
Yeah.
So as you are a busy woman, I know I'm here with you on one day, so I can imagine what's Monday through Friday is like. What do you do for your own self-care? Because it's so important for you to take care of you. So what do you do?
I'm a morning person. I love to get up and watch the sunrise. It's my favorite thing to do. I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I like to grab a cup of coffee, watch the sun come up, go to the gym, work out. That's my thing. I'm really into fitness and wellness.
Yes.
And Saturdays, if I can get the house all to myself, My self-care, I do nothing.
Oh, that's nice.
I do nothing. I do absolutely nothing. Nothing is my favorite thing to do.
Nice. I love that. And I commend you for even recognizing that you do need self-care, because so many women keep going and going and going and they don't stop. So I'm always asking, because they hear me, my self-care, I love to go walking. So I'll go to Easton and walk around. So if you guys see me out there, say hi. I will definitely speak to you. But I love to just put my shoes on and go out for a day like this, a night like this, and just walk.
I love that. And I'm the pampering queen. I have the spa memberships, the massages, the facials. I'm the queen of self-care.
Nice.
But to me, the best self-care in the world is to not
Yes.
just be,
Yes. I'm
just
so
be present.
That's right. And another part of what we do is called Book on the Shelf. And I believe in order for us to expand ourselves and go to our next or what's next, whatever it may be, I think we have to expand our mind. So I'm always recommending books. Now, let me give this disclosure because my phone is already beeping. I feel it back here. People are like, but I don't get anything, you guys. I've gotten so many comments on, well, you're getting kicked. I don't get anything. I just believe in that we need to empower ourselves with the knowledge.
Yes.
So with that being said, what's one of the books you're reading, or what one would you like to recommend?
You know what? I have been reading a book about how to affirm people and not agree.
Ooh.
But I love communication. I'm a student of communication.
Yes.
I've written communication books. So I love being able to read different pieces of literature that
Yes.
help me out. That book was so convicting. I could be such a great debater.
Yes.
But it really taught me about how to empower people in their uniqueness, and just learn how to validate.
Yes.
It's called How to Validate
Mhm.
and Affirm. And I love that book. It's been really great, and it's helped me out quite a bit in
Oh,
some of my
I'm
challenges.
going to have to get that book.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, you'll have to. So as I'm growing and going, I'm going to have to get that book.
Yes.
The one book that I read 3 books that I'm listening, not
Mhm.
read,
Mhm.
is I'm almost done, you guys, with Disruptive Thinker by T.D. Jakes, which teaches you how to think like the powerhouses.
Yep.
And not to think like everybody else. And then I am reading, the last wrapping up is The Garden Within. I really like that one that talks about you have everything inside of you to get you where you want to use, but they also intertwine with Bible verses, and which I really like that.
Yes.
And then the last book that I'm reading, I'm going to admit I've slacked on that one, is Nicole Walter's book, Nothing is Missing. And 2, she's also talking about we have everything that we need to get us to be where you want to be. May it be successful, may you want to make that $1 million business, but you have it all inside of you.
Yeah.
Though it sounds like all those books, it just came like that. So it was it wasn't purposely, it was divine purpose, but I didn't do it. But they all intertwine together, and it's all about, but I'm gonna have to read your book. I definitely am. So as we get ready to end our show here, let me ask you this. Do you have a vision board? And if so, what's one thing on your vision board?
Do I have a vision board? I am not a vision board person. I'm really not.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm more of a journaler.
Okay.
So I have a shelf of journals
Oh.
from the last 15 years.
Listen, I have them too. Don't tell my husband. He's always like, "What are we doing with all of this?" But I also do vision boards. So not only do I have the journals over here, I have the vision board stuff over here. He's like, "What are we doing with all of this?" And I'm like, "I don't know yet. I don't know yet." So on my vision board, as I want everybody to know, I use them and they do work. In 2020, on the bottom of my vision board, it has Vision Media. Not knowing, I didn't know anything, the magazine wasn't even here at that time. And I was doing podcasts, but it was just podcasts. So I was on a white label and Blog Talk Radio. That's where I started at. So that's the white label, so no one knew. So I was just doing that and just doing it to see if I liked it. And so lo and behold, here we are now with the magazine, the streaming channel, the talk show, and so much more, never knowing that it got me there. And this is where I have now. So, yes, exciting.
So every year, me and my family compile a list of things that we pray for. And
Yes.
it goes on our refrigerator. And then on New Year's Eve, we review that list
Yeah.
and create a new one. And I found my list from like 5 years ago.
Yes.
And one of my goals was to bring media back to God. That was one of my goals.
Yes.
So I love that we now have this space where,
Yes.
people who want to change the world, people who want to just love on people and have positive dialogue can be here
This is so
and
nice.
create just the content that counts.
Absolutely. Well, everybody, first and foremost, as you hear, we refer to the place. Her place is called MVP Studio. So tell everybody what does MVP stand for.
MVP stands for Maverick Virtual Production. Yes, Maverick is an independent-minded person. That's the definition. And so I believe that the community of Mavericks here, who all march to the beat of their own drum, we do virtual productions where we allow anyone to be able to come in and customize and film their space. And we've got a brand new LED wall coming. I'm really excited about that. It'll allow people to film on virtual backgrounds.
Nice. So where can people find you and find the studio?
Yes, so if you can Google Tia Ramey, I'm on Instagram, YouTube. I do have my own YouTube channel where I give communication tips and strategies to leaders to help them personally and professionally. They can find me on Facebook and Twitter. Hopefully there's more. My website is tiaramey.com, and you can also look up MVP Studio at mvpstudio614.com.
So you guys have to check it out. If you're here in Columbus, it is a nice studio and it's so spacious. It is, I promise you, I feel like I found my what's next for Envision Me Talk Show and Envision Me TV. It's really has set me in here. So I really like that. As we get ready to close it down, Tia, what would you like to leave the listeners with?
Well, I would love to leave listeners with a little bit of just what you said, that you have everything that you need in you. You really do. It's so important that you look on the inside and not on the outside for whatever that next thing is that's in your heart, whatever it is that you want to build. You're prepared for it. You're equipped.
Yes.
And the most important thing is to take the first step, write it down, put it on your budget, put it in your calendar, and before you know it, you would have built that thing that's keeping you up at night.
I agree with you. And the last question. So what is your what's next?
Oh, wow. My what's next? That's a big question for me. I really am hoping to travel. I would love to spend time traveling. My daughter will be 18 in 3 years. So I'm almost at that point.
That's
I'm not
right.
worried about
That's
Christmas
right.
break. But I'm really hoping to be able to take our platform and be able to travel and create more MVP studios around the
Oh,
globe.
nice. I hope I'm part of that too.
Yes.
Well, Tia, thank you for joining us and hang with me. Everybody, I hope Tia has dropped so many gold nuggets. It's just incredible, and I appreciate it. But I want you all to know you have one life to live, just one. So you need to go out here and live it for you and live it to your best. I understand we talked about fear, we talked about failure, but you still have to go through it, you conquer it, and still go on knowing that on the other side, it's still good. And we're going to still face them, but know that you go with the right tribe and get you there. Until next week, everyone, when I bring another amazing guest on my show, take care of yourself. Oh, and I do have an ask for you. One ask is if you felt today's show was helpful or inspiring, empowering for someone, please share. And then the second ask is, so tonight's show was sponsored by Good Girl Project. It is a nonprofit located here in Columbus, Ohio, that is empowering young girls and young women. And actually, they are having a gala on the 24th of this month. So you'll see her logo in the top corner, but we would love to have you out. I'll be there. There'll be so many amazing women out there. And it's just going to be nice, you guys. We get to dress up. Who doesn't like to dress up? So join us there. I will drop the link on where you find out more information. And again, take care of yourself. Until next week, everyone.